Hello everybody, this is Starman and welcome back to Let's Play the Pandora Directive. Well, last time you'll remember we came out behind Rook's pawn shop looking for a clue. We found a newspaper, and I decided to cut it short before I read all this because even though there's only one article in here that's going to be of interest to us, I still like reading through these for the comedy value, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. So we'll go ahead and start with the business part. Exclusive, The Black Arrow Killer Strikes Again by Lucia Purnell. In what appears to be a carbon copy of the serial murders committed in Arizona and Nevada over the past 2 years, a young woman has been murdered in New San Francisco. Police are not releasing any information at this time, including the name of the victim. The reporter has learned, however, that evidence was found at the crime scene which indicates that the Black Arrow Killer has struck again. Reports from several months ago have hinted that the police have finally caught the serial murderer in Nevada. This was never confirmed or denied, though this recent tragedy seems to prove that the killer is still on the loose. We will provide all possible information when it becomes available. Let's see. Mutant Coalition announces Mutant Pride Celebration. The Mutant Coalition has petitioned Mayor Linder to designate April the 2nd as Mutant Pride Day. According to Mutant Coalition Grand Poobah Lipo Davis, Mutant Pride Day will be celebrated regardless of whether the mayor makes it official or not. Events slated for April 2nd include a parade, a pie-eating contest, and a three-legged race. There must be at least 2 participants. In addition, local musical groups will perform. The lineup includes Brains and Eggs, Meat Whistle, and the Buchanans, who are sure to sing their big hit, We're So Right, We're Left. Looks like a little bit of capitalization error in there. Who's who in local business? Sapphire Bob Baggett. Well, I guess that's better than Diamond Jim. Sapphire Bob Baggett, founder of Sapphire Bob's Home Farm Services, was recognized this week as a local businessman of the year. Sapphire Bob graduated from Oakmont High and worked for San Francisco Tech for several semesters in the custodial department. He then left school and moved somewhere down south and entered the pharmaceutical business, where he amassed a small fortune. Sapphire Bob met his current wife Trixie on a business trip to Las Vegas, and they were married after a storybook 3-hour romance. The happy couple moved back to the city by the bay a year and a half ago and started up a lucrative telemarketing business. Sapphire Bob is quick to attribute his success to others. If it weren't for the hard work of my employees, I wouldn't be making squat. Our congratulations go out to Sapphire Bob and those fortunate enough to work for our local businessman of the year. Puppy chews off man's leg. Rochester, New York native Pablito Smith woke up last week to find that Barkley, his 3-month-old Labrador Retriever, had chewed his leg completely off. According to Mr. Smith, he'd been up late the night before drinking mucho tequila and passed out on his living room sofa. He didn't even realize the leg was gone until he tried to stand up the next morning. Immediately after falling to the floor, Mr. Smith noticed Barkley playing with the leg. The impromptu amputation wasn't all bad, though. I've been trying to lose weight for years, said Mr. Smith. Now weighing in as svelte 195 pounds, he is scheduled to leave the hospital today. Gortz on Sports by Al Gortz Jr. The big news today, of course, is the arrest of Mano Manasukis, the power-hitting catcher for the Bay City Mutants. Mano was booked on manslaughter charges stemming from the fatal accident which took place yesterday evening. In the bottom of the 5th inning, Mano ripped a hanging slow curve into the stands to the left of third base, hitting a woman in the forehead and killing her instantly. After the game, which the Mutants won 5-4 on Manowaski's 3-run upper deck blast, Mano was cuffed and escorted from the ballpark in a patrol speeder. As it turns out, the victim was Mano's ex-wife, and witnesses say that Mano pointed in her directions moments before stepping into the batter's box. Police suspect foul play. And the note, I didn't know it was her. Yeah, he looks like a douchebag, doesn't he? Fishing Pros Contest Winner. The following entry, submitted by Natty Lorson, was chosen as winner of our annual Why I Love to Fish writing contest. Natty wins a 4-day, 3-night, all-expenses-paid trip to Stain Lake, Oregon, and a new set of waders. Throughout history, fly fishing has remained the pinnacle of the angler's art. Other weapons of attack on dwellers of lake and stream may come and go, but when a man has tried every one, if he is a philosopher at all, he will come back to fly fishing. For the fly rod offers other inducements than merely winning the physical fight. The satisfaction lies rather in one's closeness to nature, in his becoming one with his environment, in the lifelong pursuit of his big-ass lunker trout. Computer Biz Buzz by Mr. According to Chad Froth, spokesperson for Microsoft, there is simply no truth to the rumor that Bill Gates has died in a tragic speeder accident and been replaced by a lifelike computer replica. There has been considerable speculation since release of Windows 42, in which Bill Gates was pictured on the cover with a hand over his head, apparently staring down in a flower-covered grave. Fueling the Bill is dead rumors are several snippets which can be heard on the new Microsoft Golf 1 is played backwards on a CD player. One of the phrases reportedly spoken by Paul Allen says, "I buried Bill." Microsoft adamantly denies these allegations, saying the phrase is actually Libraryville, the codename for a new Microsoft cyber literature product. And a bit of dark irony in retrospect here is that Access got bought out and the Tex Murphy series ended prematurely after Microsoft bought them. Movers and Shakers. Bruce Willis, still fit and spry at age 91, is set to star in Die Hard 18, still alive and kicking. Willis says that this will be his last and most exciting movie in the popular cinematic series. The plot centers around a terroristic takeover of Fort Lauderdale retirement community. Co-stars include Paul Rubens as the terrorist leader, and Macaulay Culkin as a bitter ex-child star. Also in the news, United Features announced today that Waterworld, the 1995 sci-fi classic, finally broke even. Daylight Savings Shift still hot topic. The Daylight Savings Shift, which was enacted January 1st, has met with mixed reviews. While the Surgeon General has applauded the move, saying that it will reduce skin cancer deaths by at least 50%, others have been highly critical. "We're not owls, for Pete's sake," says Representative Carl Van Doty, Democrat, Alabama. Senator Vincent Pohl, Republican, New Jersey, adds, "This whole fiasco has turned us into a bunch of freaking nocturnal beasts." Though there are many rural spots which have yet to shift business hours from AM to PM, all metropolitan areas have complied with the changeover. Yeah, this got mentioned briefly in the last game, but they shifted around the day schedule to where 7 a.m. became 7 p.m. and vice versa in order to keep people from being out when, the sun is out. Not that you can tell with the red skies, but there we go. Anyway, on the plus side, most businesses have seen little difference in employee effectiveness and absenteeism, and crime is down in most cities as criminals are forced to engage in nefarious activities during daylight hours. Hospitals, however, have noticed an increase in cases of insomnia and sleep disorders. The Surgeon General advises that this is a temporary result of necessary adjustment and will soon pass. Does this sound like your kind of job? Work in the same building with lots of interesting people, earn up to 15 minutes in breaks every 4 hours, enjoy a full hour for lunch unpaid, a clean, sanitary bathroom available at any time, 3 fully functional drinking fountains dispensing icy cold water, punch in on this state-of-the-art time clock, sit in a comfortable chair with armrests, make money simply by talking on the phone all day. If this sounds like the kind of career you've dreamed about, contact Sapphire Bob's Phone Farm Services at 555-0801. A challenging and rewarding opportunity in the field of telemarketing could be the stepping stone to the future. Paid advertisement. And finally, be an artist or just look like one. World-renowned fashion expert Francois will appear for one night only at the Bayview Community College Amphitheater. Francois, founder of the Nouveau avant-garde fashion movement, I think I said that right, will lecture on a variety of topics including art, apparel, and accessories, dressing for suicide, and a basic black turtleneck, the new blue blazer. Tickets are $163.22 and are available at the door. The lecture begins promptly at 8:19 and cigarettes will be served afterward. Well, that gets us through the paper. And I wonder, can we enter through... Yes, we can!
I can't imagine why you don't get as tired of bothering me as I get tired of you coming in here. So what do you want now?
Well, Shot in the Dark.
The Mirror is a fine publication. I try to save my copies so they can be recycled. Then the bums come while I'm sleeping and steal them. Probably using them for blankets.
And although it's likely he doesn't know anything about it,
I read about the Black Arrow killer in the newspaper, but why are you asking me about him? He was arrested in Nevada some time ago.
Or was he?
I remember Lucia Purnell. Quite a strong-willed young woman. She works for the Bay City Mirror and came to interview me right after my shop was broken into. I have her business card here if you want to contact her.
Just happened to have it in his front shirt pocket. Well, I'm not gonna complain about the convenience. Alright, well, let's see. Okay, I got email, voicemail, fax line. Okay, well, before we call her, one person in the neighborhood had occurred to me after the last video we have yet to speak to.
A sermon on the joys of not eating meat, to be delivered by Reverend Gary. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't go and explore behind the Golden Gate.
And he proclaimed in a mighty voice, "Woe be unto ye, eaters of flesh! Cursed are those who partake of the sausage patties and links and sizzling bacon. Cry for forgiveness, ye ingesters of honey-baked ham and all other manner of breakfast meats."
Oh, but I am a wretched sinner, and I do love the bacon.
I've heard about Crazy Gary, but we've never formally met. He appears occasionally in some nook of Chandler Avenue, ranting wildly like a space-age Moses strung out on Demerol and bad scotch.
And they cried out to him, saying, "But these are turkey-based products. They will not harm us." And he said unto them, "Yea, though turkey is the least of these, nonetheless a plague be upon thee and thy intestines."
You, know not you the one in the hat? Have you not come to be healed?
Let's see. Doggy joke, stale humor, prime rib directive. Let's go with the doggy joke.
No, we've already covered that in obedience school.
Not that kind of healed. I speak of the vile grub that rots within your digestive tract.
Maintain some privacy, discuss lunch, plead for forgiveness. Let's go with lunch.
So I ate 3 chili cheese dogs today for lunch. I don't see that's any of your business.
The lunch of the damned, those who worship at the altar of beef, veal, and poultry shall reap the vengeance of atherosclerosis.
Let's see, nothing to worry about, real problem, not quite clear on the terminology.
I'll never die of that. My liver will never last that long.
Ah, then you too are an imbiber of the blessed potations. Which do you prefer, rum or vodka?
Not particularly discriminating, the official beverage of private investigators, an unsettling thought. I'm a PI.
Bourbon, actually.
I, myself, prefer a nice single malt scotch.
Suggest a pact, cut to the quick, friendly and agreeable.
I'll tell you what. If I bring you a bottle of single malt scotch, will you answer some questions?
For a bottle of single malt, I will not only answer your questions, I will bless your family for 3 generations. For now, I must return to my preaching.
Sounds like a bottle of good scotch might loosen up Crazy Gary's tongue. I heard that Sal Lucido, the former owner of the Slice of Heaven pizza parlor, kept a first-rate stash of illegally imported booze somewhere on the street.
Hey, by happy coincidence, I think I raided that stash already.
Well, that...
Okay, we'll have to talk to him first.
I happen to be in the middle of a very important sermon.
Make a donation.
Well, I brought you an offering.
How may I assist you, O venerable giver of the precious potation?
All right.
That appellation is foreign to me. I have been summoned by a greater power to preach against the forces of red meat and its kin. It is my calling in life, and I fear no man. A name with which I am totally unfamiliar. It was a publication I perused on occasion, until one day, to my horror, I saw recipes for... I cannot say it.
You know, as utterly hammy as this is a very amusing performance.
No,
No?
I am unable to assist you. My ignorance is regrettable.
As is your beard.
That appellation is foreign to me.
Alright.
Now there is a man of insight. He eats no meat. Of course, he eats nothing but chocolate. A name with which I am totally unfamiliar.
Alright.
No.
Okay, don't know her.
I saw this man but once, strolling along the thoroughfare. He appeared to drop an article of some sort. When he bent to retrieve it, I espied an object fall from his pocket. It turned out to be a key.
A key?
You may indeed have the key, and I wish you luck in locating the poor man.
Alright.
That appellation is...
Alright.
Yeah, I've not heard of such a thing.
It's right around the corner. How could you not have heard of it?
I have seen the warehouse, but have never entered therein.
Alright.
No. I have seen the name advertised, and it speaks to me of unbridled lasciviousness.
You don't know the half of it, Padre.
The fetid aromas billowing from their kitchen are insufferable. For that reason alone, I must forsake their supply of precious single malt Scotch.
He is a man of principle. If you don't like them, he has others.
The cretin is a veritable slaughterhouse. If he approaches to within eyesight, I fairly retch from the foul odor.
Well, he's not completely crazy.
That appellation... A name... Psycho Preacher! That's what the foul little man calls me. A curse be upon his pancreas.
Well, I could get behind that, actually.
That nefarious parasite, his very livelihood subsists on polluting the intestines of all the inhabitants in our fair locality. I have waged war upon him and his ilk, and only one of us will live to tell the tale.
Alright.
Ah, the lovely creature who administers at the local newsstand. A sweet flower.
Ew.
Your taste in Scotch is unquestionable. For that fact alone, I can bear the stench of digesting meat emanating from your every pore.
Aw, thanks. I like you too, Gary. And he'll just stand there having his little seizure. Well, we now have a key to the warehouse. And let's go to the top, just for old time's sake.
These are either oxygen tanks or artillery shells. The box looks like it's empty. These crates are all rotting comfortably. These crates are all rotting comfortably.
And it looks like they took the old hook down. Oh, no, wait.
The sliding unit has moved to the end of the track right above a crate by the big doors. The sliding unit... What's this? It's a crate with Thomas Malloy's name stenciled right on the side. I'll need to move it out of that tight corner before I can open it. Sheesh. The way my luck's been going, this will probably be my next apartment.
The coffin, yeah.
These crates are all rotting comfortably. More barrels of toxic waste. I guess it's cheaper to store it than dispose of it. Man, the rent here must be pretty cheap if someone wanted to store wood pallets. These crates are all rotting comfortably. These
Arr, well, shiver me timbers. It's a pirate's chest.
And now behold, as I open it from the second floor.
These crates are all rotting comfortably. These crates are all...
I'll bet that's what we need to move the big crate.
These crates are all...
Ah, medical supplies.
This button probably... Well, I guess I ought to turn...
I thought I did that.
This button must...
Okay. Now, lower.
The slots on the trolley are lined up with the ring on top of Malloy's crate. Now I just need to find something to connect them with.
Well, let's see.
Well, blow me down. It's a Lucky Pierre signature souvenir pirate hat.
Sword looks pretty sharp. It's probably the reason for the peg leg.
Arr, a peg leg.
I hope all the prosthetic devices didn't belong to the same pirate. Must belong to the guy.
Peg leg. That gives me an idea. We need a peg, don't we? So let's try and use the peg leg with the... There we go.
This panel... That ought to do the trick. Looks like something fell.
Map of Asia. Okay.
What's this? Plains of Nazca. I don't see any airplane.
Let's see. Photograph of Nazca.
It's a rug or a wall hanging.
Tapestry.
Well, this is certainly an interesting design. I wonder what type of symbols these are.
Those look oddly like what's on the translated Yucatec letter. Huh. Well, that's interesting, but not particularly helpful at the moment. But as long as we're exploring the neighborhood. Yes, this game does have a sewer level.
I think I'll let that box float right where it is.
Good call. I haven't noticed how those roots are getting down here when there's no plants.
Danger, contaminated area. No. Contamination around here?
Good thing I'm immune to radiation. Yeah, this box sticks out a bit, though.
Well, this box looks like it hasn't rotted through yet.
Let's see, we got a chisel. I guess now that makes us a chiseler. Hello, something bright and colorful.
A Playbub. Oh, gross. This magazine is filthy. I'll never get all the sewage off it.
Clearly Nilo has been stockpiling his porn down here. Echo, echo, echo.
Whoever's responsible for these boxes being down here must be in a great deal of pain.
Hello?
This looks like the kind of money belt the drug dealers are wearing these days. I think I could put this money to a more productive use than any drug dealer could.
Well, maybe not productive, but definitely a nobler cause. And this takes us up to... Hey, right back where we started, behind Rook's place. Alright, well, that was a nice little diversion, but I believe we have a reporter to go try and call. There we go, Lucia Purnell.
This is a private number.
Let's see, feeble puns, slimy humor, get straight to the point. She does not seem like the type of person I want to screw around with, so let's get to the point.
Yeah, I know. This is Lucia Purnell, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm Purnell. Who are you?
Down to business.
My name's Murphy. I'm a PI, and I'm investigating a case you covered in the Bay City Mirror. The Black Arrow Killer.
Yeah? So are 1,000 other people. What makes you so special?
Well, my name is on the title of this box for the game.
I've got a note that might be from the Black Arrow Killer.
Okay, let's meet. I can tell you whether it's the real thing or not.
Set a rendezvous, recommend local hangout, eager to meet. Let's go with local.
I live in the Old City on Chandler Avenue. There's a diner close by called the Brew and Stew. Let's meet there.
I know the place. I'll be there in 15 minutes. By the way, what did you say your name was?
Tex Murphy. That's T-E-X.
I got it.
All right. Travel to Brew and Stew.
Well, I hope I didn't take you away from anything important.
Nah, just a fight with my editor. Can't even remember what we argued about.
Well, Well, don't worry, because I'm not here to start a fight.
Truth is, I piss people off, usually the wrong people.
Well, at least we got that in common.
Good. Now, you said you had a note?
Yeah.
Where'd you get this?
My pocket.
I got it from a client.
Your client's in danger, Murphy. How much do you know about the Black Arrow Killer?
Killed a few people in the Southwest a couple of years ago, and then a girl around here got killed recently.
You know, Malden might know more than he's letting on. Then again, he might not. Of course, if he did, I doubt he'd tell you. He's not that stupid.
I'm not so sure about that. Look, why don't you fill me in on a few details, and then I can be certain.
It's a long story.
Come on over to the booth and hear me.
You're slightly above average, aren't you?
Yeah, and many things.
Well, we'll just have to cut you down to size, won't we? When the first bodies turned up in Arizona in the summer of '41, the local police tried to keep the story off the wires. They didn't want the bad publicity. It wasn't until March of '42, when 3 other victims were found, that the story really broke big. Turned out the killer in all 5 cases had the same M.O. He sent notes to his victims before murdering them. I had a chance to see one of those notes. It was exactly like this one.
Had the black arrow, all that?
Right, and the block lettering, same words, everything. You probably know cases like this can spawn copycat murders. For that reason, the police didn't release copies of the notes to the media.
Well, so they could differentiate between the copycat killer and the real killer.
Exactly. Anyway, the Black Arrow Killer racked up 2 more victims in Nevada before the police finally caught up with him. At that point, the FBI moved in and media coverage evaporated. The name of the guy they arrested was Leroy Kettler. The night they booked him, he hung himself in his cell with a shoelace. Funny thing is, he was wearing cowboy boots.
Now that's a little hard to explain.
After things cooled off, I went down there and interviewed a few people, including an inmate who told me that 2 men in suits went to Kettler's cell the night before he hung himself. I'm pretty sure they were NSA.
NSA? What would the National Surveillance Agency be doing messing around with a serial killing case? More than that, why would they kill Kettler?
Maybe he was a fall guy. Or maybe Kettler really was the serial killer and the feds just didn't want the case resolved. Regardless, there was a cover-up.
Mac Malden said there was another case around here. How does that tie in?
It doesn't. The girl was a grad student at San Francisco Tech. There was no indication that she was receiving threatening notes, and there was nothing out of the ordinary before she was murdered. Oddly enough, the police found a note in her room. At that point, the feds moved in and took over.
That girl, what was her name?
Collins. Sandra Collins. You know something I ought to know?
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
Now, there's no chance that you can give me the name of your client?
You know I can't do that. But I'll tell you what. If I find out who's stalking my client, you're gonna get a scoop out of this.
That's a fair deal. By the way, have you heard of a place called Autotech?
Don't think so.
Might be worth checking into. Oh, and Murphy, one more thing. When I was following this story in Nevada, I met a guy just like you, a PI. He asked a lot of questions, too. A week later, he had a tag on his toe. Suicide, I think.
Purnell certainly gave me a lot to think about. What's the common denominator between Fitzpatrick, Malloy, Kettler, and this young woman, Sandra Collins? Too few details, too many implications. The bottom line is, whoever sent the note to Emily's for real, and she's in danger. Purnell mentioned a place called Autotech. Maybe that's a place to start. Somebody just jumped off the water tower on the roof of Rusty's funhouse. Dressed all in black. Maybe Emily wasn't just imagining that someone was watching her.
Of all the times to get a message. Or a phone call. Well, it's a message.
Hi, Tex. I just called to say that I'm off to Phoenix. I'm really sorry about the way I've been over the past few days. I guess I'm just having a hard time deciding on what I want right now. I'm going to take a break for a while, and I guess I'm going to try to figure out what's best for me. I'll give you a call soon and let you know how things are going. Bye.
Well, it's good to know Chelsea doesn't hate me after our little disagreement at the Flamingo. Maybe I still got a chance with her after all.
Dare to dream. And as long as we've got the phone, we didn't really get a chance to ask her too many questions. So let's take the chance to do that, I think.
Hey, guess what I found out? I got a source that told me Leroy Kettler signed a confession before he supposedly killed himself, only now it's like the confession never happened. No paperwork, no nothing.
So Kettler was the real Black Arrow killer?
Looks that way. Maybe the NSA found it useful for people to think that the killer's still on the loose. So why'd you call?
Yeah, I just needed to ask you a few questions.
Alright, we'll ask about...
I can't help you, but I'll check my sources. That's not in my area. There's nothing I'd like more than to light a fire under the National Surveillance Agency. It's like they say, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
And yeah, this game got made before the NSA became, well, as prominent as they are in 2016 when I'm recording this.
Autotech. Gee, that sounds familiar. Wish I could help you with it. I talked to her family after the murder, but they didn't have any useful information. If you want to give it a try, I'll give you the address. Are you going to ask me about every person you ever heard of?
Yes!
Me? I'm an investigative reporter. I'd send my grandmother up the river for a hot story.
Good to know.
I like working for the Mirror. It's small but respectable. Plus, they let me do what I want. I've told you everything I know. If I find out any other details, I'll pass them along. Could be the Black Arrow killer. Or maybe it's just someone pretending to be. He was the guy living in the dumpster by Rook's pawn shop. I tried to interview him for details on the robbery, but he looked like he was going through some sort of drug withdrawal. I can't help you, but I'll check my sources. That's not in my area. I remember when Rusty disappeared. Big news. I hear they found the body right in the funhouse.
No, I found his body in the funhouse.
Are you going to ask me about every person you ever heard of? Walden's like a bulldog. Stupid, but persistent. He's a pretty good contact.
He is at that.
I can't... That's the new club in your neck of the woods. Word is, the NSA's staking the place out.
They are? News to me.
Doesn't ring... I can't help... I interviewed Rook after his pawn shop got broken into. Mean little bastard. We got along great. The Bruin stew is one of my favorite greasy spoons. Louie's a hell of a guy. And a pretty good source of information. Doesn't ring a bell. I don't mean to come across as unfriendly, but I deal with a lot of imbeciles in this business. Don't take it personally.
Yeah, we're back to the insulting, tell me what you think of me stuff from Mean Streets. Kind of funny, though. And no, I don't want to delete that message just yet. Okay. Well, this strikes me as being a good point to save the game, just in case we're running into a death trap.
Chandler Avenue recently...
Yeah, we can't pick out just the water tower from here. But we will go ahead and stop here, and next time we will start investigating Rusty's Funhouse and try and find a way up onto the roof. I'll see you next time.